If you're looking to buy a home in Utah, some big changes are a brewing. I have some good news and some bad news. But a major shift in the Utah real estate market could be a lot closer than you think. As a home buyer, it's more important than ever to time the market right, because if you miss the window of opportunity, you could find yourself on the outside looking in. Be sure to watch to the end, where I'll share how I recently got two different clients mortgage rates below 5%. That's right, no waiting in line for rates to drop. I can take you right to the front of the line. So, what's happening in the Utah real estate market right now? Well, through August and September 2025 so far, like July, showed signs of stabilization with a modest price growth. We are seeing an increase in inventory, but declining mortgage rates have encouraged buyer activity. That being said, affordability challenges have persisted, with median home prices remaining high compared to national averages. Most recent data has the median sold price for a single family home in Utah sitting at $587,000. Leading forecasters predict slow but steady growth for the rest of 2025, despite what some other real estate YouTubers keep saying, and you guys know who you are. A real estate market crash in Utah is not expected due to a severe shortage in housing. It's a simple case of supply and demand. Personally, I miss the good old days when Utah homes were super affordable, but the demand for housing is only increasing as people continue to move here because of a strong jobs market. If you haven't heard, US World News and Report named Utah the best place to live in the United States for the third year in a row. US News spends months looking at data, and they use 71 metrics grouped into 8 categories to rank how well each state serves their residents. Of all the 50 states, Utah ranked in the top 5 in 4 out of 8 categories. With a number 1 ranking in fiscal stability, economy ranked 3rd, infrastructure ranked 3rd, and education ranked 4th. Crime and corrections gets an honorable mention, ranking 7th. I'll put a link to my in-depth version of that video in the description below. Okay, what can we expect through the end of this year? Well, something is happening that could entice a significant amount of buyers to enter the market. More on that in a minute. But based on current trends, it is predicted that home prices in Utah will see a 2% increase by the end of 2025. Most recent data shows that Utah currently has 13,532 homes for sale, a 25% increase from the same time last year. That's bad news for sellers and great news for buyers. But once again, as I've been saying all along, a market crash in Utah was never expected due to consistent homebuyer demand. The housing data for August was just released today, so let's talk about it. In the orange box, the median days on market is 44, up from 38 last month. So it is taking longer for a home to sell, but it is fairly normal to see days on market increase from July to August. In the green box, 3,581 units were sold, which is a slight increase, up 1.8% from the same time last year. And the median sold price per square foot is at $233.40. Now, let's zoom in on the bottom section. In the red box, the median sold price in August was $575,000. So year over year, the home prices are up 1.8%. Condos are basically sitting flat at $412,000. Now, in the green box, you'll notice that the number of homes listed for sale is basically the same as it was last year. It's always fun to look at the data so you know what's happening. But what about these pesky mortgage rates? Good news for both buyers and sellers, mortgage rates have come down to a low in 2025, around 6.5% for a 30-year fixed loan. That's the lowest since October of 2024. In a moment, I'm going to explain this massive Utah housing market shift that's likely to occur and what it means for buyers and sellers. But first, I want to share an interesting report from CNBC explaining what's happening in the economy with the Federal Reserve rate cuts.
Tom Lee, Fundstrat Global Advisors, Head of Research. Good morning to you. Want you to weigh in over these jobs numbers and what it portends for the economy and therefore what it portends for the Fed.
On the heels of that jobs report, the labor market is now deviating further from the Fed's target than inflation and therefore justifying actually one additional cut. So the weakness in the labor market, as you know, once it begins to weaken, it's very hard to reverse that momentum. So I think it's important for the Fed to intervene quickly.
So it's now expected that the Fed will cut rates 3 times this year. But just to be clear, the federal funds rate is not directly tied to mortgage rates. So what will mortgage rates do?
Mortgage rates could come down sharply because the spread between the 30-year mortgage and the 10-year is over 300 basis points. The 50-year average is around 160. So the Fed, if it begins to resume cutting and the bond market views that as essentially an easing trend, the 30-year mortgage could drop 150 basis points if the 10-year doesn't even move. That's a lot of easing for the housing market.
So not only can you expect mortgage rates to come down, but the drop could be more significant than what most forecasters have predicted. That's great news for both buyers and sellers, but don't expect rates to drop into the threes or even the fours. Now, of course, buyers want to time things perfectly to get the best deal, but because markets are unpredictable, that's nearly impossible to do. So I've got a strategy to keep you ahead of the curve and make sure you don't get Zillowed and lose a bunch of money. Right now, there's loads of wannabe home buyers sitting on the sidelines just waiting for mortgage rates to drop.
The 30-year mortgage is strangulating the economy. We know housing has slowed dramatically, but we also know that there's a lot of pent-up demand for housing. So it's a market that does need to be fixed in terms of easing sort of supply-demand conditions.
If you're looking to buy a home, waiting for lower rates is a horrible strategy. Why? Because as mortgage rates drop, more buyers will enter the market. And the bigger the drop, the more competition you'll see. For this reason, you need to purchase a home before rates drop, and I can help you get into a home before this happens. But first, here are a few incredible advantages to buying a home before mortgage rates drop. Number one, you can easily find a home that checks all your boxes. Number two, sellers are more willing to negotiate. This could mean a price reduction, seller paid closing costs, or a more flexible move-in date, among other things. Number three, you shouldn't feel too rushed, although at this point, you should feel some urgency. The disadvantage for home buyers who wait for mortgage rates to drop could be devastating, and here's why. Number one, the available inventory will quickly dry up. This will leave you with fewer options. Number two, with less homes and more buyers, you'll feel pressure to buy a house fast, likely settling for something that doesn't check all your boxes. Number three, sellers will no longer be willing to negotiate. That means no price reductions, no seller paid closing costs, with much less flexibility on the terms. But the biggest problem is that number four, home prices will increase faster. This often leads to number five, you may need to submit multiple offers before you finally get a house under contract. Or even worse, number six, you may need to submit multiple offers above asking price, especially if it's a great property. Worst case scenario, if prices increase too quickly, you might find yourself priced out of the market again. And I'm telling you right now, there's a very high chance that a lot of people are going to find themselves in despair because it will likely happen so quickly that it'll be too late before most people realize it. Am I trying to scare you? Not really, but it is the reality of the situation. And I don't want you to be on the outside looking in, wishing and wanting. Thankfully, I have two incredible options if you're serious about buying a home in Utah. The first, most popular option, just call me. Let's chat it out. Tell me exactly what you're looking for, and you can sit back while I find the best homes at the best prices with the best incentives. Then I will lovingly guide you through the entire process. And the best part is that you can have professional representation, someone on your side, for free. In a moment, I'll share what I'm doing to help my clients get into a brand new home right now with mortgage rates below 5%. And I'm pretty dang confident that I can do the same thing for you. So there's absolutely no reason for you to wait for rates to drop. Now, for those of you who want to do it without a realtor, guess what? Because I love everyone, I'm going to share my secret for getting a super low mortgage rate today. This is likely the most important thing that you'll learn in this video. Are you ready for it? Home builders are offering amazing incentives right now. So you want to find home builders in your area. Research which ones build high quality homes and the ones you should avoid. Read reviews to see which builders have poor customer service. Then visit the builders and compare included features, upgrades, size of the home sites, and the incentives that they offer. Honestly, it's a lot of work, and for most people, it's overwhelming. So instead of spending a bunch of your time and your energy trying to find out who the best builders are and what are the best incentives, call an expert. No joke, the builders will pay my commission, so it won't cost you a dime. And I've recently helped several clients buy a new home and get a mortgage rate below 5%. If you'd like to know what questions to ask home builders, you'll want to watch Don't Build a House Until You Watch This. I'll put a link to that video below. If you're looking to buy, sell, or build a home here in Utah, I get contacted all the time. Please feel free to call or text me with your questions. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a friend or a family member looking to buy or sell a home, you can easily text this video to them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Remember, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.